So, I'm not dealing with this. With Street Fighter as a series dying to me after Street Fighter 4, and Tekken being a casual game in my family, I run out of options for fighting games to play. Grand Blue Rising held me for a bit, but couldn't find a character to really stick with. But one of the best girls from the mobile game, Galleon, is being added, so I might return for that. Guilty Gear Strive is just a mess of balancing throughout its entire life. I wanted a fighting game with difficult and cool looking combos, not terrible balancing. Choosing between getting thrown 6 times or eating a 60% combo. So I chose possibly the worst answer to my problem. Learning an over decade old fighting game. Oh boy, where do I start? I'll start off doing what I always do in fighting games. I go to mission mode. I was able to complete Hyde's trials about 5-6 years ago, so I figured it can't be that much worse nowadays with the new game out. I go in and say, hey, I like Yuzuri Hyde BlazBlue cross tag battle, so let me go and try her last combo trial. Let's see what it's working with. Oh my god.
Whoa! Damn!
Well, damn! They have a whole college curriculum for this game. School's not for me, so let's just look at the game modes. Single player is as basic as it gets. Arcade is basically every anime game's visual novel style storytelling. There's something called the Hollow Knight that happens sometimes, where these weirdos show up called Voids, and they're monsters that attack people. Linne is the princess of the Nightblade, and Hyde is the only person that can kill her because of his sword, which he sheaths in his right hand? None of this makes sense to me, since there's too many moving parts. You got the Executors, some group of all-female nuns doing something? Or wait, are they called the Lich Christ? I don't fucking know. You got Hyde and Linne doing their thing. You got Yuzu off of beating up random people. Carmine is bricked up fighting. Ogre's trying to hook up with the Void bitches. Batista's basically just robot following orders. And Seth is the definition of an edgy teenager. This is so interesting, but the visual novel storytelling takes me out of it. I don't mind visual novels. For any of you guys that know me, especially when I'm on Twitch, I played a few visual novels like Phoenix Wright, Find Love or Die Trying, or Slay the Princess. But if I'm going to play a visual novel, at least let me get laid by the thick Onesan by the end of it. Score attack, time attack, and survival are the same modes from every fighting game. For some reason, mission mode is here too. Just what this game needed, a second way to get to mission mode. Bravo, French bread, bravo. Versus is just what it is. Fight against your friend on the couch, or watch the CPU fight like it's some sort of cockfight. There's nothing new here. Like this Network is bare bones. No killer mode or anything. Just leaderboards, replays, ranked, room, and player matches. The whole 9 yards. It's doing its job. But this is all the same. Just like this training is just regular training mode, tutorial, oh, and mission mode. You're back again, huh? Customize is a limited way to customize your character's colors, but I will never complain about the option to customize characters. I made Steelers Tsurugi, that's all I needed. The rest of the modes are just as basic things, like options and gallery. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Unlighted Birth has some very interesting characters, like this middle school girl into BDSM.
I'm going to jail!
This lolly with a crop top.
I'm going to jail!
And this naked lolly.
I'm going to jail!
But seriously, there's a lot of cool characters. Carmine has certain attacks that leaves blood puddles on the floor that you can activate later, and you can even move these puddles around on the floor. Seth is the fastest character I've ever seen in a fighting game, with around 7 or more mobility options and insane mix-up in Oki. Ogre is a basic brawler with the gimmick of a command grab that leaves a bomb on you that can be detonated at will or after certain moves. Kaguya, this is my personal favorite, is an acrobatic gunslinger that seems hard to catch. And Byakuya, a weird character that lays web traps across the stage and around the opponent. They made the Spider character feel more like Spider-Man than Spider-Man. I don't know how they accomplished that, but I will give them props. Let that sink in. There's 3 DLC characters between Ogre, Izuki, and Izumi, which Izumi isn't released yet. The character designs are all great in my opinion too. It makes me want to try all of them. Even this dweeb here, Chaos, is cool looking for a Poindexter ass guy. The mechanics are the most confusing part of this game by far. I hopped in and was like, wait, what is this diamond meter at the bottom of the screen? Are the bases loaded? What is Vorpal? Chain shift, does that mean the new chain gang is taking over? Force function? Under Night does not use a lot of normal terminology, so you're gonna probably need a tutorial mode or YouTube video. From what I understand, the middle meter at the bottom is the grid meter, and it's basically a tug of war between you and your opponent. Certain things fill it up, and whoever has more diamonds by the time the circle behind it fills up wins the tug of war and goes into a state called Vorpal. Now, I don't fully understand Vorpal, but from the little bit I can glean from it, Vorpal gives you a damage boost, and it gives you access to something called Chain Shift, which Chain Shift is, from what I can tell, something like a Roman cancel from Guilty Gear. You can cancel whatever you're doing and gain a small amount of invincibility. I'd argue the grid gauge is more known than the Under Night characters because it's so different than anything else in a fighting game. There's a shield mechanic that helps you build grid faster, but comes with the downside that if you block wrong while the shield is up, you will go into a grid break. And when you're in grid break, you automatically lose that grid cycle, aka you lose that round of tug of war. This game doesn't have a typical burst, but there is a veil off, which allows you to knock enemies back or to extend the combo if you're hitting an opponent when you use it. I think it's the only way to use your infinite worth, EXS, I don't know how to say that, which is, if you don't know, it's just your ultimate move. I hope I got these mechanics right, as I've only been playing the game for about 3 days, at least at the time I'm writing this. There's more mechanics like charge attacks, force functions, and assault, but I don't understand enough about them to go over them, and I don't want to provide misinformation on those. Now, I know I dogged on the tutorial a bit earlier, but in actuality, it is really good. If you want to learn fighting games, this is the best game bar none. Some people will say Street Fighter because it teaches you fundamentals, and while I can't understand that, most fighting game tutorials suck. This game teaches almost everything there is to know, from simply moving your character to things like Oki and tick throws, which apply in almost every fighting game. The mechanics are super unique, which is why I believe it held its fan base for this long. It's a small fan base, but super dedicated, because you can't get this experience anywhere else. What other game can you play tug of war for buffs and benefits the whole match? What other game will you find the character as quick and as tricky as that? This game just has a unique feel to it that I haven't felt anywhere else. When I continue my journey playing, I'm enjoying my time a lot so far, but I'm too scared to hop into the online because I know I'm over a decade behind in experience and I'd get destroyed. So I'll stick to fighting the AI and going through mission mode for now until I'm comfortable enough to go online. This is from a time when fighting games were very difficult. Street Fighter 4 had one frame combos, Tekken was, we don't talk about Tekken, and Under Night has extremely demanding execution with delayed attacks, micro dashes, and micro walks. Sometimes all in the same combo. It's also not an inviting experience if you're a casual. The old players are still around since the first version of the game. They will snuff you out until Father Time snuffs them out. The game doesn't have crossplay either, so the community is split between the PC and console side of things, which is never good, especially for a casual experience and in such a small niche community. And like I said, the game is just execution heavy, which isn't very good for casuals either. You won't be doing these crazy combos at 15 minutes of practice like most fighting games released in the last 10 years. This game is great, but has nothing to really offer if you just want to play it casually or alone. If you want a story, there's better story modes like Street Fighter 6 Warped Tour mode. If you want customization, you can get Soul Calibur 6 for cheaper, and it has better customization, or you can just buy City of the Wolves or Tekken 8 if you care about that sort of stuff. Now, if you want to take the game somewhat seriously, I say hell yeah hop in. The tutorial will teach you so much. The lore is pretty cool from what I've seen. The character designs are all great, except Wallstein. And the combos are super satisfying to land. The game's mechanics are just really fun to play with too. Playing this game isn't for the faint of heart, so be prepared if you decide to hop into the Hollow Knight.